Hello, so we are here again and today we will be doing a practice worksheet. So in the last video we had done, if you remember, allusion, then apostrophe, paradox, chiasmus, tautology, epithet, prolepsis and pun. So in this video you have 20 sentences and you will be practicing all of these topics. Okay. So I have posted the link to the last video in the description box. So if you want to brush up once before starting with the sentences, then you can click on the link and you can visit the last video. And if you are confident enough, so you just can go ahead. And at the end of the video, you will be having the answer key. So once you have completed the sentences on your own, do check your answers with the help of the answer key. So, all the very best. You can start your paper. So here is your answer key. The first sentence. Henceforth, I will start thinking positive, but I know it won't work. Now, this is an example of paradox. So, this is a paradox as it appears to be contradictory. The speaker says he will think positive, but concludes the sentence in a negative thought. Now, the second sentence. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Now, this sentence satisfies the conditions of both apostrophe and repetition. Apostrophe, as the rain is something inanimate and it has been addressed to an inanimate object here. Okay, so it is an example of apostrophe. And also it is an example of repetition as the word rain has been repeated twice. Now, the third sentence. The boy was surprised that his nose did not grow like Pinocchio even after repeatedly lying to his mother. This is an example of allusion as there is a reference to a well-known fictional character, Pinocchio. So we all know the story where that whenever Pinocchio, the wooden doll, would lie, his nose would grow longer. The next example. While failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. While failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So the phrase which is used in the first part of the sentence, that is failing to prepare, is reversed in the second part of the sentence as preparing to fail. So thus forming a crisscross pattern, and this is an example of chiasmus. The next sentence. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, died quite early. So this is epithet. Why this is an epithet? As the phrase king of pop has been used as an adjective to describe the main quality of Michael Jackson. These few words, king of pop, gives us an idea of him being a phenomenal pop singer. I mean, he did not have any equals as far as pop singing is concerned, right? Okay. Now, the sixth sentence. I want to conclude the meeting with a vote of thanks at the end. Now, this is tautology. This is tautology as the speaker has used two synonymous words, that is conclude and end, together in one sentence. He could have used either conclude or at the end. So, because of this needless repetition, this is an example of tautology. Moving on. The next sentence reads, teddy bears are never hungry as they are always stuffed. Teddy bears are never hungry as they are always stuffed. So, this is an example of pun. We all know that soft toys are stuffed toys, means they have stuffings inside to give them a proper shape. And when we eat, when we eat to our heart's content, we say that we have stuffed ourselves. So there is a play of words here, right? So this is an example of pun. The next sentence, it is nice to be important, but it is important to be nice. So this is chiasmus. So there is a crisscross pattern here. The first part of the sentence, nice to be important, is written in reverse as important to be nice in the second part of the sentence. Okay. Now the next sentence. His past history shows that he is not fit for such a senior post. Now this is tautology as the words past and history have been used and they are synonymous to each other. So one could have been avoided. So because of this needless repetition, it is an example of tautology. The 10th sentence. To defeat our strong opponent, we have to find their Achilles heel. This is allusion as there is a reference to the Greek mythology where the character of Achilles had no weakness except for his heel. So that was his vulnerable point. He was killed in a battle by an arrow
which had struck him right in that vulnerable point. Now, in modern days, Achilles heel means a weakness which might lead to failure or which can also prove to be fatal. Okay. The 11th sentence. It was the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of the end. So, this is an example of paradox. The word beginning and the end are contradictory to each other, but if you observe it closely, you will find the meaning. The meaning becomes very clear. So, this self-contradictory sentence means a point from where things start going downhill, or in other words, a crisis or disaster starts. So, I mean, though the words are contradictory to each other, the sentence has a deeper meaning. This Winston Churchill, who was a former Prime Minister of the UK, he once used this phrase, "beginning of the end," in his speech. Okay. The next sentence. Milton, thou shouldest be living in this hour, England hath need of thee. Now, this is the opening line of the famous sonnet London 1802 by William Wordsworth. The poet addresses John Milton, a famous poet, who had already passed away when when this sonnet was written. So, this is an apostrophe, as a dead person has been addressed to here. The next sentence. Ryan downloaded a video game, but the computer crashed as the game had a Trojan horse in it. I don't know how many times it has happened to how many people. Many people have suffered from this particular problem. Okay, now let's analyze the sentence. So, this is an example of allusion, as there is a reference to an incident from Greek mythology. The Greeks hid themselves in a hollow wooden horse to enter the city of Troy. In the present day, this phrase Trojan horse is used to mean something harmful, but it appears helpful. Okay, so it means people use deception to hide their intention. So, in this sentence, the video game that has been referred to here, it apparently looked innocent, so Ryan went ahead and downloaded it. But it contained a virus which eventually damaged his computer. So, something harmful was disguised as something useful. Okay. Now, the next sentence. Here are the rules. Ignore all the rules. Here are the rules. Ignore all the rules. So, this is an example of paradox, okay, as there is a contradiction here. It says the only rule is to ignore any rules altogether. Means putting it in like simple words, it means that there is no need to follow any rule. So, now this is a serious statement, but it has been written in a humorous way. So, this was paradox. Next sentence. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being. This is an example of apostrophe. It's a famous line by P.B. Shelley. Okay. So, here the poet Shelley is addressing the wild west wind. So, this is which is something inanimate. So, this is an example of apostrophe. The 16th sentence. He believes in eat to live and not live to eat. So, this is chiasmus because of the crisscross pattern. So, eat to live in the first part of the sentence has been written as live to eat in the second part of the sentence, and in this way the sentence has been balanced. So, this is an example of chiasmus. Now, the 17th sentence. Let's meet at 8 a.m. in the morning. So, in this sentence, there is a needless repetition because AM means morning. So, either AM or morning could have been omitted. So, because of this needless repetition, this is an example of tautology. Okay, the next sentence, the 18th one. Being a pilot was her dream. Her career has really taken off. Now the expression taken off is the pun here. Okay. So a pilot takes off an aircraft, that is one meaning. And the other meaning is that being a pilot, the girl's career has shaped really well. So it has taken off. So this word taken off, this expression taken off, is giving us two different meanings. The 19th sentence. The earth is crying sweet and scattering bright the air. I'll repeat the sentence. The earth is crying sweet and scattering bright the air. In this sentence, the earth is described as crying sweet, and for air, scattering bright has been used as an adjective. So, crying sweet was the adjective for earth, and scattering bright is the adjective for air. So, this was an example of epithet. Now, the last sentence. The library is the tallest building in the city. It has many stories. So, in this sentence, the word stories is the pun. Let's analyze. So, a library has plenty of storybooks. Okay. So, one meaning of stories in this sentence is storybooks, stories in storybooks. And the other meaning is many floors of a building. So, a multi storied building. So, here in this sentence, homonym has been used to make this pun.
So I hope this video was helpful to you, and in our next video we will come up with many more figures of speech. So please keep watching Grammar Granny, and see you in the next video. Okay. So till then, bye bye.